What's up, everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about last night's Game 3 between the Celtics and the Heat. A huge Game 3 with the Heat's first game in Miami. And wow, what a game this was. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you like the content, consider subscribing, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. Looking at the analytics, only about maybe a little bit less than 1% of you that actually watch the videos are subscribed. So if you do like the content, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get right into it. So last night, game 3 between the Celtics Heat, Eastern Conference Finals game 3. The Heat took both games in Boston. This is basically a winner go home sort of game for Boston, really, but not really. Because you know the story of teams when they get down 3-0, it's over. And so game 3, this is a huge game. The Celtics made a change in the starting line. They went back to the smaller lineup. Robert Williams was the starter for the first 2 games. But because they liked the spacing and stuff, Derek White inserted back into the starting lineup. And to start this game, Kevin Love, first 2 games wasn't really doing much. And then he hit the first couple shots of the game for Miami. He hit a 3-pointer, had a layup. I think he hit 2 threes, actually. Oh, no, he only had 1 3. He had 5 points in this game in the first 5 minutes. Before going out early, he had apparently a left ankle injury. Didn't come back for the rest of the game, but it didn't matter. For the Celtics, Tatum was aggressive to start. I like how Jason Tatum came out really aggressive for the Heat. It was Kevin Love came out aggressive. Bam was doing things. Gabe Vincent was getting in on the playmaking and stuff. Caleb Martin came right in, and he's been just phenomenal in this series. He hit another big 3-pointer. But then, after Jaylen Brown hit a jumper with 5:40 left to go, it felt like the Heat kind of took over after that. Gabe Vincent hit a big 3-pointer. Max Strus started hitting threes. The Heat defense was really locking in. The Celtics were missing a lot of layups, turning the ball over, and the Heat led 30-22 at the end of the first half. Caleb Martin had a couple shots at the end of the first half. Robert Williams was playing really well in this game. Robert Williams has been playing well the whole series. He was in foul trouble, and the Celtics like the space lineup. So that's really what happened. Go to the second quarter. Duncan Robinson came in and was putting the ball on the floor and getting to the rim. He blew by Grant Williams for a layup. He got back-to-back, and then he had a cutting layup. Then he drove to the rim and lobbed it up to Bam for a big dump. Gabe Vincent was hitting jumpers, and all of a sudden, Caleb Martin hits a 3-pointer, and it's a 14-point lead. All of a sudden for Miami. The role players came in and really doing big things, and they kept going throughout the entire second quarter. Duncan Robinson still hitting threes, Bam hitting shots, Jimmy Butler getting to the free throw line. For the Celtics, they're just missing easy layups, turning the ball over. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both having rough times shooting the ball. Celtics didn't really have a lot of energy, turning the ball over, weren't hitting 3-pointers, and the Celtics were down by 15 at halftime, 61-46 at the end of the first half. So he outscored the Celtics 31-24. And then the third quarter happens, and the third quarter was just Miami really blew the game open. Jimmy Butler had an and one Max Strus 3-pointer. Gabe Vincent hit a big pull-up 3-pointer with 8:59 left. That put him up 23. And I think from then on out, after Gabe Vincent hit that 3-pointer, then he came down and hit another one. It was just the Celtics kind of lost it. The Celtics didn't play with energy. They just kind of gave up halfway through early in the third quarter, and the Heat were pouring it on. They were up by 25, but it looked like it was a 2-point game because Miami was just kept fighting. Bam. Get to the free throw line. Caleb Martin hitting shots. Jimmy Butler hitting shots. Guys like Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent were amazing. Cody Zeller even got in on it. He outscored the Celtics 32-17 in the third quarter. Eventually ended up winning the game 128-102 and take a 3-0 series lead. The Heat shot 57% from the field and 54% from three. He hit 19 3-pointers, while the Celtics shot just 40%. They shot 26% from three, hit 11 3-pointers. The Heat forced 15 Celtic turnovers. The Celtics actually out-rebounded the Heat by a lot. The Celtics out-rebounded the Heat 57-35 and had 21 offensive rebounds. But it just didn't matter because they weren't really converting on shots. For the Heat, Gabe Vincent, 29 points. It was the Gabe Vincent game. Last game, it was Caleb Martin that came in and brought it 25. This game, Gabe Vincent came in, put up 29 points, hit 6 3-pointers. He was huge in this game, hitting big shots, bringing a lot of energy. And, yeah, it was just really, really good for him. Duncan Robinson as well. Came off the bench and put up 22 points, hit 5 3-pointers. It's amazing to see what he's done After basically the entire year, he was kind of just on the bench until Tyler Hero got hurt in game one, and then he came in, and he's been amazing for them. Caleb Martin had another great game, 18 points, hit 4 more threes. The Heat role players have just been phenomenal this entire playoff series. And this game was really on them because Bam and Jimmy didn't really have to do much. Jimmy had 16, 8, and 6. Bam had 13 points. Bam only took 5 shots in this game. He was just kind of chilling out there playing defense. Max Strus also had 10 points. He had 2 3-pointers. It was just, I mean, the Heat in total played an amazing game. They kept playing with energy, playing with force. Even though they're up 2-0 going back home, they could have just been complacent and just been like, whatever, we got this. But no, the Heat are not that team. The Heat come out and fight every game and play like it's their last. And the role players, I mean, today it was Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson. Last game it was Caleb Martin. The game before that, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent had another big. It was like every game I feel like there's two guys that really step up on this Miami Heat team that you don't expect. Like game one, it was Kyle Lowry had a big game, and Max Strus came in had a big second half. Last game, it was Caleb Martin. They really came in and changed the vibe of this game. Today it was Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson that came in and really changed the game, and Caleb Martin again as well. Like they were playing all cylinders. They're hitting all cylinders right now. Eric Spoelstra is doing such an amazing job with this team, and now they're one win away from going to the NBA Finals, and they're up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. I mean, it's really insane, man. Both ends are really playing great, but the Celtics, this was a terrible game for them. I mean, early on they were missing a lot of shots, missing a lot of easy ones, turning the ball over, but then it just got to a point where it was just embarrassing, really, for them. Like, you could tell halfway, like, early in that third quarter, they just kind of gave up. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown weren't playing with a lot of energy. They were missing a lot of shots. Malcolm Brogdon had a tough one. Al Horford was missing shots. Really, the only one playing, like, actually playing out there was probably, like, Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. That's it. Like, Tatum and Brown really just kind of sat there for a lot of the game. They both had very miserable shooting nights. Tatum was leading scorer for the Celtics. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, and shot 6 for 18 from the field and 1 for 7 from 3. Only took one free throw, which is actually a technical free throw. It's the only one he took. Jaylen Brown, 12 points, shot 6 for 17 and 0 for 7 from 3. Jaylen Brown is shooting, I think, 10% from 3 in this series. He is really struggling, even though the first 2 series, Jaylen Brown was doing really good. He was one of their most efficient, better scorers in the playoffs, and now in this series, he's had a really tough one. Grant Williams put up 12. Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett actually came in. Peyton Pritchard had 12 points, and Luke Cornett had 11 points, and they both only played the entire fourth quarter. But yeah, everyone else was tough. Derek White had 9 points, shot 3 for 6. Marcus Smart, 8, 9, and 8. He only took 8 shots. He was 2 for 8, 0 for 3 from 3. Al Horford only played 19 minutes. He was 2 for 5 from 3. He was really struggling. Malcolm Brogdon didn't score off the bench. 18 minutes. He was 0 for 6. Robert Williams' minutes have been great in this series, honestly. Robert Williams has been really, really good. 8 points, 8 rebounds in 13 minutes. It was just a foul trouble. He had 4 fouls in like the first half. So it was very tough for him to stay out there. I really would like to see the Celtics play him a lot more because I think he's been one of the more consistent factors in this game. I mean, he's getting so many offensive rebounds, put back shots. I think he's shooting like, 80-something%. Well, it might have gone down because he was 4 for 8 today. But, I mean, he's been great. But the Celtics as a team just haven't looked really right all playoffs long. Even in like the first round against the Hawks, you can kind of see there's some struggles. They weren't really locking in on either end and let the Hawks stay around for a little bit longer and win 2 games. The Philly series, they lost game 1 without Joel Embiid. They kind of came back for 2 and 3. Then they lost game 4 and game 5 at home. Well, they lost game 4 on the road in a tough overtime game. They lost game 5 at home, but they mustered up the strength to win game 6 and game 7. But in this series, you're playing against a different team. Miami Heat are not a team that goes out lightly. Like Philly might have some moments where they just look bad and they kind of look like they don't really care. Atlanta just doesn't have the talent. They've been really struggling all year. Miami's not that type of team. Miami right now are playing the best that they're playing, and they're a team that as soon as they see a little bit of fear, they're going to pounce. So this is not the team to be struggling against. So when the Heat smell fear and they feel that the Celtics aren't really trying or really locked in or have the lack of intensity, the Heat are the type of team that'd be like, oh, I see that. Let's go up by 20 on them. Let's make a run on them. Let's get these loose balls and hustle and hit shots. And that's what happened again today. The Celtics just lost that fight in them. Tatum, Brown, everybody, even the coaches, like, it just felt like the Celtics gave up in this game. And now they're down 3-0. Their season on the line. Joe Mazzulla took a lot of credit. He said, I didn't have them ready. And there's been a lot of talk about Joe Mazzulla and potentially maybe the Celtics jumping too early on giving him a contract extension and giving him the money. And you've seen throughout this playoffs, he hasn't been great. But then again, it's also his first time as a head coach. So you kind of sense that this probably was going to happen a little bit. But still, it's very tough to see this talented of a team, Boston Celtics team, that was 2 wins away from an NBA championship last year, come in with kind of the exact same team. Honestly, better than the exact team. They brought in Malcolm Brogdon and guys like that, and all their guys are a year better. And now they look like they might get swept in the conference finals by an 8 seed. I mean, it's very, very tough for the Celtics. But, I mean, that's all just credit to Miami. Miami's been playing freaking amazing. I mean, to be an 8 seed, to be all the way in the conference finals, this is like, it's only the second time ever, besides the '99 Knicks that made it all the way here. So yeah, I mean it's insane. The Celtics really, just gave up, didn't have any fight, energy, and lack of intensity, and that's kind of been like them the entire playoffs. But to do it in this big of a game where literally like kind of your season's on the line, like if you lose this game, you're down 3-0, and you look at the history is not on your side here, down 3-0, and now they have one more that they have another game on Tuesday that they gotta win or it'll literally be getting sent home. But shout out to Miami Heat, man. They really came out and dominated everywhere tonight. They really, really just dominated. And now they are 1 win away from going back to the NBA Finals, man. How are we letting this Miami Heat team get this far and 1 win away from the finals, man? What the heck? I don't understand. I mean, it's just they've been playing amazing. They've been the most dominant team in the East in this playoffs, man. You really just have to tip your hat to them. Like, wow. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoy once again. If you do like the content, consider subscribing, turn notifications as well, stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.